Yeah, I think we're a good defensive team. I don't think we're a great defensive team. I think we're a better offensive team than defensive team. And I think sometimes when you have guys who can score a lot, they're only going to be so good defensively, because at the end of the day, they believe they can outscore you.
Legit or not, as we get that neon up there, you just heard Coach K say his team was good but not great on defense. Legit or not, Duke's defense is good enough, Dylan McGordy. And you've seen them against North Carolina, your boys, already 3 times this year. Is their defense, legit or not, good enough to win the national championship?
Man, I think so. It's not their strong suit.
No.
It's not their
It's not
calling
the
card.
old
No.
slap the floor.
No, they don't hang their hat on that side of the ball. If they're going to win, it's because their offense is clicking that well and just hitting on all cylinders, and that the defense is good enough. And I guess if that's the question, I do think that's legit. I do think that they're athletic enough. They're smart enough. They've got a tremendous coach who's one of the all-time greats, if not the greatest.
Right.
Figuring out schemes to make adjustments mid-game to slow down some of the eventual, inevitable, tremendous offensive talents they're going to face along the way. And that kind of starts now. Once you get rid of Troy, now all of a sudden you start to get into the tough waters of your bracket, the whole rest of this tournament. But I think, if they can make it, I'm really looking forward to that Elite Eight matchup. If they can make it and Nova can make it, to see how those two shape out, I think that's going to have a lot of say on people's brackets, who wins and loses their pools. And I think for Duke, that's going to be a real test if they can slow down that beautifully efficient offense of Villanova, led by Hart and Brunson and guys that are just, they're battle tested and they've been there. That'll be the real test to see. It doesn't matter if I think it's legit or not. That'll be the sense of if it's good enough for them to cut down the nets, their defense.
You're right. If the form holds, they would play number 1 overall seed Villanova just to get to the Final Four. If Duke was fortunate enough to win that, then it's either Gonzaga, who was number 1 in the regular season, or Arizona, who people believe could be
the best overall team in the country, or at one time was.
And then if they win those 2 games, then potentially it's either Kansas, who you believe is going to cut down the nets, or North Carolina for a 4th time. I mean, you talk about running the gauntlet. Whoever wins it this year, and if it's Duke, their defense has to hold up.
Yeah, and if Duke is going to win that, run that gauntlet, like you said, they're going to have to play some defense. They're going to have to get stops.
Stop somebody.
Yeah, and I love what I saw offensively from Duke today. I thought your hot take was great, and I thought
points.
Yeah, we're seeing it. Duke was one of those teams to score 90 or more and really light it up. One of those real, the blue bloods today that showed out and busted up the scoreboard, like UCLA, like North Carolina, like Villanova yesterday. But that all being said, I think we know what we're getting with Duke's offense. We've seen it over the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Sure.
Tatum really emerging as their X-factor player. We already kind of know how good of a shot maker and how steely Kennard's nerves are. They've got the big man lunch pail kind of guy in Emile Jefferson. You've got
and Grayson Allen,
Grayson Allen, who's one of the more talented players and one of the more formidable offensive players in the whole tourney. So I think all of this is going to be really fascinating. And the thing that's either going to have Duke continuing to advance or seeing an early exit is that side of the ball. Can they get stops? I don't know. I tend to think they can. If the question is, can their defense be good enough? Is that legit? Yes, I think it can be. I've seen them be really good, get stops when they need to against good ACC teams during the regular season.
I agree. I think their defense is not great, but it's good enough to potentially cut down the nets.